Welcome back to today's episode of the Pink Llama Files, where I retell Reddit stories from the perspective of a licensed beauty professional. Today's story starts slow. An esthetician was about to block her schedule on a quiet day when suddenly, boom, she gets booked. She asks the front desk for the name and immediately freezes. She recognized the client. We'll call him Peter. He's known for being a creep. At least 3 different massage therapists had complained about him to the point where he wasn't even allowed to book with them anymore. He never got physical, but his sexual comments were more than disturbing. So, why was he on her books? Because his wife had an appointment and he didn't. So, the front desk staff just threw him in with her for a facial. Now, put yourself in her shoes. Imagine knowing a client has a history of making sexual comments and then being told you have to take him anyways. Why should that responsibility fall on another service provider? Why not just ban him? She went to a coworker, someone who had personally dealt with Peter before and had stopped seeing him for the same reasons. That coworker backed her up. But when the assistant manager found out, she got annoyed and pushed back, pressuring her to just take the client. This esthetician stood her ground with the coworker's support. She said no, and she doesn't regret it at all, because if she hadn't spoken up, she could have been the next one stuck with Peter. Here's the real issue. This man had multiple complaints, notes in his accounts, a reputation. Yet, instead of banning him, management just shuffled him around. That's not protecting your staff, that's just passing the problem. For anyone listening, you have the right to say no. You do not owe anyone your time or comfort, especially if there's a history of harassment. Protecting yourself is not being difficult, it's being professional. Would you have taken this client, or would you have stood your ground? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you again for joining me for today's episode of the Pink Llama Files. You have an amazing day.